Welcome to Fact Check Friday, the Unparented Heart Edition, because only the truth sets the unparented heart free.
Before we get started, please note, this podcast may include discussions about emotionally difficult family dynamics, including emotionally absent or unavailable parents. Everything shared here is for educational and motivational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please seek support from a licensed professional if you need it.
Hello, bright souls. Well, we made it. Are you excited that we made it to Friday? I'm excited for you, and I'm excited that you chose to come back and listen to me. It is so awesome that you're returning each week and each day. So, I just want to go ahead and jump right in. It's Fact Check Friday, and it is Friday. Today, we're learning the real facts about the 8 phases of emotional absence. These are the different ways a parent can be there on the outside, but you know what? They're not. They're not there on the inside. Sometimes when we grow up this way, we make up stories that we tell ourselves, and that is what helps us get through it. And a lot of these stories, depending on the child you were, you might blame yourself. You might say, well, it's my fault, or I don't matter, or I just need to get over it. And you don't understand that the story that you're telling yourself is not truth. The story that you're living is not your own, is a story that your parents have put on you because they haven't handled their own emotions, their own life in a way that does not affect you as a child. So today we're going to look at what's real and what's not, so that you can go into the weekend feeling clear, feeling strong, and it gives you a sense of freedom. Knowledge gives you a sense of freedom. The Bible says in John chapter 8, verse 32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." When we are in Jesus and we're following Him and we're learning about Him and we're in relationship with Him, He keeps us from deception. It's His truth that makes everything come to reality and we get understanding. That's why last month it was so important for me to start with you first and helping you to learn about your mind, your body, your spirit, and then being in relationship with Christ. Because when these truths come out starting this month and going forward, if you're in relationship with God, you're able to accept the truth instead of running away from it. And if you were like me, you ran, and I literally ran. I ran 1,500 miles away to run away from the truth instead of understanding it. With understanding, it helps you with your process, whatever your process looks like. Some processes, they look like forgiveness. Some processes look like just plain acceptance, and that's it. Some processes include acceptance, forgiveness, moving forward. Whatever your process is, you have to have an understanding first so that you can move forward in your process. So let's get started. We're going to start with the first emotionally absent parent. And that is the emotionally shut down parent. Fact is, children raised by emotionally unavailable parents often struggle with self-esteem, emotional expression, and trusting others in adulthood. The truth is, their emotional shutdown was not a verdict of your worth. It was a symptom of their fear. You were a child, and you were longing for connection. They were an adult, terrified of being vulnerable. Their silence was never proof that you were unlovable, yet it was their wound that was unhealed. Parent number 2, the overwhelmed, checked out parent. The fact is, parental absence, including emotional absence, creates a long-term psychological impact that shapes a child's emotional landscape and future relationships. Their overwhelm was not your responsibility to fix. See, you learn to read the room because the room was unpredictable, and you learn to shrink back because their stress just filled the room and filled the space and was just overshadowing. Their exhaustion, that was not a reflection of who you were and how you're valued. The self-focused parent. Fact is, inattentive or disengaged parenting has particularly negative outcomes for children, often leading them to become distant or disengaged in their own relationships. Truth is, their self-focus was rooted in their insecurities. It wasn't because you were inadequate. It wasn't that you didn't have enough to fill their world. You were not too much. They were too consumed, and they were too consumed of themselves to really see you clearly. Their lack of attentiveness towards you, it was because of their limitation in them. It was not a flaw in you. Let's talk about the inconsistent parent. The fact of the matter is that a parent's inconsistency can create emotional instability that ripples into adulthood, shaping behavior, relationships, and self-perception. The truth of the matter is, it's their unpredictability, and it has nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with that little child in you. But you know something? Your body learned how to brace for impact because it did feel unstable. The chaos, you adapted to it and you felt you were destined for it. But you know what? Don't claim that. Consistency is what you want in your life for that sense of stability. If it wasn't in your childhood, you have an opportunity to have it in your adulthood. So let's talk about the parent who confides in the child. Fact is, children who are emotionally parentified often experience long-term anxiety, relational strain, and difficulty setting boundaries. Yeah. You were never meant to be the counselor. You were not meant to handle adult comfort. You were not the substitute for emotional anchor. That is too much for a child. Too much responsibility. And children have the biggest hearts. And they take on everything personally. But here's the thing. You carried adult-sized burdens with a child-sized heart. That weight that they put on you, that was never yours. And the fact that you survived it speaks to your strength and your resilience, not to their wisdom. What about the physically present but emotionally missing parent? Growing up with an emotionally unavailable parent can leave lasting effects on emotional regulation, trust, and the ability to love. The truth of the matter is their presence without connection still created a wound. It still created that parental absence that you have to heal from. Their disconnection was not a reflection on your ability to be loved. You learned how to feel alone in a full room. You learned to silence your needs because no one noticed them. But emotional negligence, it was a failure on their part. It was not a failure on your part. That resonated with me so much. The parent who avoids conflict or hard conversations, did you know that is parental absence also? See, the fact is, avoidant parenting patterns contribute to insecure attachment, which affects emotional regulation and relationship stability later in life. Do you see the consistency? How it affects not only you, but it also affects your ability to maintain a stable relationship with anyone. I want you to keep that in mind as we go this month through each of the personalities, that this is something you were taught. This is something you experienced. And because of their avoidance, it taught you silence, but it wasn't something that is defining you and your voice. But your voice protects and stands up for the little person inside of you. It's not a threat. It's a gift. You are allowed to speak up as an adult now. You don't have to avoid conflict. You get to say, I don't like something, or I don't want to. You get to learn the power of no that we talked about. Absolutely. Next, we have the parent who prioritizes work, ministry, and others over their own children or child. The fact of this matter is a parent's absence, even when caused by work or external commitments, can reshape a child's mind and identity, and again, relationships and sense of worth. When a parent is absent, it affects the child's sense of worth. The truth of the matter is their busyness was not a measure of your importance. You were important. You still are important. Here's some wisdom for you. You were worthy of their time, even when they gave it to everyone else. Their performance-driven life created a void in them. But that void, it wasn't your fault. Not at all. Last but not least, the missing parent, completely gone. The fact, parental absence leaves deep emotional imprints that echo into adulthood. It shapes not only the identity, but it shapes relationship. It shapes emotional well-being and attachments. The missing parent, their absence speaks of their wound, not your lovability. You were not abandoned because you were unworthy. You were abandoned because they were unhealed, unavailable, and unable. God never left you, even when they did. And I need for you to understand that. God never left you. No matter which parental absence trait you had to suffer under, God never left you. I want you to pick one of the faces that resonated with you the most and it stirred up a little bit of emotion for you today. And you were like, I have a couple. What I want you to do with that, I just want you to be aware of it. I want you to call in and say it out by name. I don't want you to try to diagnose it. I don't want you to try to look it up on the internet. What is this thing and why is it? And trying to figure it out. I just want you to acknowledge it. We're going to get into the details, I promise. But I just want you to be aware. See, awareness is the first step towards wisdom. And wisdom is the first step towards healing. See, a lot of times we want the result, right? We don't want to go through the process. We want to be able to just know what it is, and then that's supposed to heal us. No, you have to go through the process. It's like buying a book and just reading the end of the story, the last page, but you miss everything in between. You have to gain an understanding. And when you go through the process and allow God to come into your life and have a relationship with you, He gives you perspective. When that perspective hit me, when I got an understanding of my father and an understanding of my mother, I could almost predict what they were going to say when they said it because I had an understanding. And when you gain that knowledge and that wisdom, you know what to do with it. It is a trigger. Do you heal from it? Does it make you mad? Yes, of course it does. You're human. You have emotions. But you're able to acknowledge it. And you're able to say, you know what? This made me upset for a moment. I'm going to have my moment. But I understand where this is coming from. But this does not define who I am and where I'm going. And that's the place where I want you to be in. That's the freedom I want you to have. That's the truth I want you to live in. Their problem is not your definition. You are not the definition of their problem. So, bright souls, I said I was not going to make this long. You are not defined by the face that raised you. These faces, again, they do not define you. You are defined by the truth you're learning to walk in. I just said that. You are defined by truth. And understand this. By tuning in to each podcast, by learning, by growing, you are rising. And guess what? You're not alone. You're not alone. I want you to know that you are not alone. Does it take work? Yes. I'm here. I'm right here with you. I am right here walking with you. I have you by the hand. I'm taking my wisdom and my experience and I'm holding you by the hand and I'm saying, come on, let's go. You got this. And it takes facing the truth. So before I go and before I end, I just want to ask you if this Fact Check Friday helped you to breathe just a little bit because you're like, I can put a name to this thing, then I want you to share this episode in the episodes this week and the episodes in the future with someone that may be able to use it. Just one other person. Say, hey, listen to this. You might be able to relate. Because, Bright Soul, we need each other, and we need clarity, and we need comfort, and we need education, and we need to put a face to this thing that we've experienced so we can lay it to rest. I want you to be able to experience freedom. So, at this time, I'm going to cut it short. You guys, because we have next week. And I want you to prepare your mind, your heart, and your soul. And until then, well, Bright Soul, I pray today's episode met you with God's gentleness. If something touched your heart, I would really love to hear from you. You can leave me a review on Apple Podcast, or you can send me an email and share what God stirred in your heart. Or if you want to go deeper, you can order your Bright Soul Bundle Journal. It's on sale this month. It's a quiet way to meet God and meet yourself. Join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as we keep healing with God. Until then, let your soul breathe.